Aloha. So I know my battery's dying. I don't have much space on this video card right now, but I wanted to finish off on get into the feeling of dreams and how you can start to remember your dreams even more is by being but more the more aware of yourself you are in your waking state, the more aware you will become in your dream space. So if you are aware without judgment, without any kind of like linear well, integrating with the linear and the circular parts of who you are, understanding your entire 360-degree self, you can be able to see what these systems are and in your dream space. So the main thing I wanted to hear that I was saying yesterday is that so the more aware you are, the more you can feel. The more you can feel, the more you're aware in your dreams to become lucid. When you're lucid in your dreams, you can become more interactive with those dreams. So I was explaining yesterday in a dream, not in a dream, but about a dream. While I was in a dream, I felt myself becoming loose, like really lucid, and then I went into a space of integrate, like trying to analyze the dream and all this stuff. And once you start to do that, you can make it unstable. You can make the dream unstable, and when the dream becomes unstable, that's when you wake up. So I remember in a dream, that dream that I was talking about it'll be 2 videos ago now. I was talking about walking. While I was walking, I started to realize that I was lucid in that space when I started to say there was 2 suns in the sky, and I remember like having to say, "Oh, don't start thinking about what 2 suns mean," because I started to analyze. Because I do this when I wake up. I start to analyze, or when I'm awake, I start to analyze like what this means and all this other stuff instead of actually just being in the dream. That's the thing. When you start to analyze so deeply into that space, you can trigger. It shakes, and then you pop back into the reality that is less unstable, that's more stable. So I remember remembering that I was in a dream, in that dream, and telling myself, nope, don't start analyzing, don't go there, don't start doing this, and then like immediately going back into the dream, like convincing myself back into that dream of where I was walking. Not really convincing myself, but interacting. That's it. Interacting more in the dream. A hummingbird just came out. Interacting more in the dream, so I don't make that dream unstable and wake up. So an example was when I was talking to the young lady who was passing me, and I was telling her, "Hey, there's 2 suns in the sky." In that moment, I started to process, what that means and all this other stuff. And then that's when I started to say, "Oh, no, don't start doing that," because I started to feel, my body started to feel different. I started to feel like I was fading away, like I could have faded to wake up. And then I started to, once I felt that, I started to like think myself, and I think it's more of like interact more in the dream so I don't lose the dream. That's it. And that goes back to the awareness of so you can feel yourself. And I was talking about in the previous video, the feelings of dreams, the different feelings. So we have different kinds of dreams, different layers of dreams that happen. So like I was explaining, like the dream space itself is like a video game, like Super Mario Brothers, and then the whole each level 1, 2, 3, and 4 has different fields. Like there's a water field, there's the brick area, there's a area where you can fly, there's an area where there's like a a water area, and there's the last, I think I already said that, and then there's the area where it's the final, the round, like, or you get to like King Koopa or whatever it is, and you hit like that whole. So those whole feeling, those are feelings. Each level feels differently. So when you feel a certain way, you can be more aware of yourself and become more lucid in those dreams. When you are more aware of yourself, so if you can understand what these dreams feel like, and how you feel in each dream, and how you feel in your waking space, and be able to understand the differences. See, like playing with the lights, and that's one way to do it. But another way to do it is play with your lights. Understand what your lights are in a dream, and be able to understand what lights are. So an example is in like a flying dream. A flying dream feels a certain way. It tastes a certain way. It smells a certain way. Like you can feel like, oh, you can fly, or this is fly. And another dream is, oh, this is a dream where you're supposed to be like just in a classroom environment, or you're supposed to be learning something or listening to something, or whatever it is. Or this is a dream where you're supposed to be more emotional, like you feel the emotion of this dream, and you experience the emotion of dreams. Another one is like a fear processing dream. That's another like layer. That's like the last level in the video game metaphor I was talking about. It's these are different layers. So if you get too caught up in like what these dreams are, and you start to judge what they are instead of becoming aware of what these dreams are, then you can be. That's the difference between being subject to a dream and being lucid in the dream, and learning from the dream at the same time. So, like I said, the physical reality is the test to test you about how aware you are of your entire energy, like your soul field, who you are, like whatever that question is, like who you are, and in every moment, and what a moment is. So a dream moment is just another moment, and you're interacting with that space, whoever you are, whatever you are. And if you are not aware of yourself enough to realize that you are in a dream, or that a dream is happening, then you will be subject to that dream. So the physical reality is a place to have you subject to a dream of the physical reality. And when you become subject to it, you become subject to the people who are playing around with this, with the codings of this physical reality dream, for example. So how you get triggered there is right when you wake up in the morning, you got an alarm clock waking you up. You have to go to work. You have to do this. You have all this stuff. You're instantaneously locked out of your dreams. You got movies who tell you who you are. People tell you who you are. The way the movies are even designed, how long they are, how these people in these dreams interact with each other, how they think, how they feel, how they process fear. See, that's the main thing, is if they keep hitting the fear program button, then you won't even be allowed, and everybody else is like caught up on this subtle fear program, then you won't be allowed to process, to get through those fear programs in order to get into the dream space, to where you can heal yourself and do all those other things that you do in your dream space, beyond the fear, beyond the challenge, all that stuff. So this is why at 5, 6, and 7 years old we start to lose our dreams, because we become more integrated into the physical reality, and we're tired of having to go into that dream space and have bad dreams and process that fear. We're just done with it. So we remove ourselves from it and then become fully vested into the physical reality. And now our physical reality is our only dream. So when that happens, you can become locked into what your reality is, and they just have to download more distractions to keep you in that vibration. So it starts from all the way back from when you're a baby. You're learning, you're looking around and learning and feeling what your parents or how your parents are processing fear. You can hear all this stuff. You might not understand in language, but you can feel their vibrations. You can feel this fear that they carry around. And then when you go into your space, you're thinking as a little baby, though they're this old, I'm not even that old yet, and they're still holding on to this much fear. You are locking in that fear. Your parents are locking that fear into your space subconsciously without you even realizing it. And then at about 4 and 5, it's completely gone. You separated yourself so much, and that you only have blips of dreams. When it's like so overwhelming, or maybe you just catch a wave, you catch a little frequency, and then you can realize that you just had a dream, or even remember a dream, or even possibly have a lucid dream. But they're just very few and far between, that they don't really have any significance in your waking state, or you realizing your soul, or your soul purpose, or your challenge, or your fear processing, your challenge processing, all that stuff. It's just something else. That's how we see it, and then that's what it wants to be kept at. Is that something else, something outside of you? It's not you anymore, because you are Reese Witherspoon, or Will Smith, or Denzel Washington, or whoever else all these people are. I don't know, Reese Witherspoon. Okay, that movie was up last night. She was just walking with her back. That was funny. I was talking about that dream, and I had my backpack when I was walking in the dream. That movie happened to be on while I was explaining what the dreams were, what the dream was. Anyway, but yeah, so you start to download who you are based upon what you see around you. So you're processing your parents' fear, you're processing the movies' fear, you're processing the musical fear. You don't even have to go to your dreams anymore to process fear, because you're surrounded by a fear complex every moment of the day when you're awake. It's a subtle, like, little thing that keeps you in a space. It's very like mathematical. It's a coding to keep people. It's like give a little, take a little, give a little, take a little. Overall, you're taking everything. That's what's being taken from us, is our connections with ourselves. It's like the little stuff that we're being given is not a given. It's not a given anymore. They're not giving anything. It's an illusion of having something. Just like a mental slavery is worse than a physical slavery. Like because when you're physically enslaved, you're physically and mentally enslaved. So when you have surpassed the need to be physically enslaved anymore, and you can enslave yourselves with your own mind, then that is a deeper layer of enslavement, that now they don't need any chains anymore, because you put those chains on your children, and your children put those chains on their children, and then they don't need to do anything anymore. So you have now created a system where you can enslave. The slaves will enslave themselves and think that they are free. So that's what the American dream does to the sole purpose of each individual and each moment. And everything around us in the physical reality is a trigger to keep us in a vibration that mandates a mental enslavement. So I'll leave it there, and until next time, peace, love, harmony.